I'm Francesca Maxime, and this is Currents. It's an annual celebration in Flushing for faithful Chinese Catholics.
Processing through the streets of Flushing, we stopped off at St. Paul Shang Hong Song, joining the Korean community as well as St. Michael's, also in Flushing, allowing the community to come together in prayer and celebrating our faith and also the cultures.
Plus, ahead of Mother's Day, did a Time magazine cover go too far? And dads in Queens get some quality time with their kids.
I do this Father's Club because I like to try and be around more often for my son than my father was able to be for me. Not by his own choice, but because he had to be.
Well, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. Liz Fabulous has the night off. Well, head into any Catholic church this month. There will be little doubt in your mind that May is the month of Mary. Across Brooklyn and Queens, parishes are holding celebrations for Mary. For Chinese Catholics, that takes on added significance, as in their home country, they are not allowed to worship freely. They're required to join the government-approved Chinese Catholic Patriotic Association, which is not recognized by the Vatican. Groups of Catholics in communion with Rome still do exist in China and are part of what is known as the underground church there. Here in the U.S., though, it's a much different story, and faithful Chinese Catholics certainly know how to celebrate. Last week, they held their 4th procession for Our Lady of Sheshan. Back in China, the Basilica of Our Lady of Sheshan was built in thanksgiving for Mary having saved Shanghai, where Sheshan Hill is located, from anti-Christian massacre. Here in the Brooklyn Diocese, the celebration took to the streets of Flushing.
Today we joined the parish community of St. John Vianney. Processing through the streets of Flushing, we stopped off at St. Paul Shang Hong Song, joining the Korean community as well as St. Michael's, also in Flushing, allowing the community to come together in prayer and celebrating our faith and also the cultures.
It's a procession of prayer. And, you know, most of the good work is done by God's grace. So as we pray on the streets, we implore for God's grace on the entire community.
The image of Our Lady Sheshan is a very good image to show people that Jesus actually is about Mary. So the whole Mary's life, just to show the whole world who Jesus is, the Son of God.
We process today in honor of her name, pleading with her for her intercession to protect all Christians who are persecuted in China, especially in Asia.
And we have one Lord, one God, also one mother. The mother of Jesus is also the mother of all races.
We are aggressively evangelizing the community nearby, as you can see, and also in the Brooklyn, in the Brooklyn area. In this diocese, there are a large number of Chinese awaiting the message of salvation, that I should say, from our Lord.
This past year, over 300 Chinese came into the church here in the Diocese of Brooklyn. And in this parish alone, Bishop DeMarzio was here for the Easter Vigil, and there was over 70 Chinese that were baptized, confirmed, to receive their communion, came into the church. And I have no doubt that's in part through the prayers of an event like today, where people come together in prayer, asking for our Blessed Mother's intercession under the title of Our Lady Sheshan.
It really opens the horizon of what God is love means, because we have Mother here, the Holy Mother, and she resembles love.
Mary unifies all of us, no matter where we're from, no matter what language we speak, no matter what our cultural or linguistic differences. All of us, every one of us parishioners, all of us, we date back to the protection of Our Lady of Sheshan, even if we don't realize it. And so even if you don't realize it, she's always been there. Just like a mother is there for her child when she's in the womb before the child realizes it.
Our Lady brings us to Jesus, and the image is so beautiful. You see Our Blessed Mother holding up the Christ child, and in some sense, so all the world can see. And now we pray for the church in China, that they, as they face their challenges, that they always trust in the Lord, and that through the intercession of Our Lady Sheshan, the church in China is able to grow and to practice the faith.
What a great celebration. Well, there is much more current straight ahead. It is the issue right now on the presidential campaign trail, same-sex marriage. We'll get the latest from both candidates along with the rest of the day's headlines after the break. But first, how about a little Q&A on the subject of mothers? Yesterday, we headed out to St. Agatha's in Sunset Park to pick the brains of people there. The first question, who is the first mother mentioned in the Bible?
The first mother is Eve. A María, a Isabel, son las más viejas.
Eva, Eve.
Fue la Eva.
Everybody knows that.
Pero no fue como madre primero ella. Ay, caramba, hombre.
Mary. That I know, Mary.
I'm not remember well.
I'm guessing it would have to be Mary.
Maria.
Is it Mary?
Oh, Eve.
It's not? Oh, man.
The first woman, of course, is Eve.
Is it Eve?
Cain and Abel. There you go.
There you go.
Welcome back to Currents. I'm Francesca Maxime. Well, the debate over same-sex marriage showed no signs of slowing down over the weekend. Following President Obama's announcement last week that he supports same-sex marriage, it was the topic of discussion on the major news shows. And Mitt Romney didn't shy away from it during his speech to Liberty University's graduating class on Saturday.
Culture, what you believe, what you value, how you live, matters. Now, as fundamental as these principles are, they may become topics of democratic debate from time to time. So it is today with the enduring institution of marriage. Marriage is a relationship between one man and one woman.
And while Romney says he is firmly against same-sex marriage, he's been a little less clear on the issue of same-sex couples adopting children. He told Fox News on Thursday that same-sex couples should be allowed to adopt, but a day later said it should be left to individual states to decide. An advisor later told CNN that Romney thinks it's a state's issue, though he believes the best family model for children is a mother and father. And less than a week after announcing his support for same-sex marriage, President Obama was in New York today in what was a whirlwind of activity. The president was scheduled to appear at 2 fundraisers, including one co-sponsored by the LGBT Leadership Council and openly homosexual singer Ricky Martin. He also taped an appearance for ABC's The View and spoke at Barnard College, where the founder of the homosexual rights advocacy group Freedom to Marry received an award. From Colorado, it's arguably one of the strongest statements against same-sex civil unions. Bishop James Conley, Apostolic Administrator of the Denver Archdiocese, calls a bill to legalize same-sex civil unions a government attempt to redefine and change the perception of marriage. Conley tells Catholic News Agency that the purpose of the law is to reorient people's values, and he says that is not what government should be about. Although the measure did not come to a vote before the end of the legislative session, Colorado's governor announced a special session with the civil unions bill on the agenda. And according to the latest Gallup survey, a slight majority of Americans, 54%, believe that same-sex relations are morally acceptable. The number is actually down from a year ago when 56% viewed same-sex relations as morally acceptable, but still up from 38% back in 2002. Well, it was a record turnout in Ottawa, Canada, as nearly 20,000 people took part in the 15th annual March for Life last week. According to a Catholic news service, several bishops also participated, including Toronto's Cardinal Thomas Collins, who says the conversation on life should be infused with love, clarity, and charity. The head of the Campaign Life Coalition told Catholic News Service that 60% of the people who took part in the march were 30 years old or younger. The event takes place every year to coincide with the legalization of abortion in Canada in May of 1969. And yesterday, for the first time, Rome played host to a March for Life. Catholic News Agency and EWTN News report that 7,000 people marched from Rome's Colosseum to St. Peter's Square. American Cardinal Raymond Burke, who led a group of priests from the U.S., said the marches serve a very important function. First, to give witness to human life, and second, to awaken people's consciences. In other news, the Kansas State Legislature has passed a bill that would ban civil courts from using Islamic law or any other foreign code to make decisions. Supporters of the measure point to a pending case in the state. According to the Associated Press, a man seeking to divorce his wife has asked that property be divided under a contract that is in line with Islamic law. Kansas Governor Sam Brownback, a Catholic, has not indicated whether he will sign that law. Well, could the long separation of the Society of St. Pius X from the Catholic Church be nearing an end? According to the German newspaper Spiegel, Pope Benedict is expected to allow the society to rejoin the Church. Spiegel reports an agreement between the Vatican and the Society of St. Pius X will be reached by the end of the month. The society was excommunicated back in 1988, shortly after its then leader ordained bishops without the Vatican's approval. Closer to home, some brilliant minds were on display last week as students from across the Brooklyn Diocese gathered at St. Kevin's School in Flushing, Queens for a special exhibition.
All of these students are here today because they have taken part in the Aquinas program of the Diocese of Brooklyn, where basically students that are able to do above and beyond what the usual school curriculum requires, and they're able to work and engage beyond their ordinary day-to-day studies.
People think that since we go to Catholic schools that we don't do much like public schools do, but honestly we do a lot. Like as you see here, we do Aquinas, and it's really fun because we get to pick our topic and what we're interested in.
We are doing Blessed Pope John Paul II, and we can relate to him in many different ways. In his life, he used to do hiking, playing soccer, and love being in the theaters.
It's a sharing of intellect, sharing of minds, and just all around having a good time, but at the same time they're learning.
Because they're inundated with so many commercials and advertisements everywhere they go for fast food, that it's important for them to understand some of the problems that it can cause if they engage in eating this food too often.
We want people to learn about the unhealthy facts and truths of these fast food places like McDonald's and KFC and Taco Bell.
It's very important for our students to be able to think critically. It's very important for them to ask questions.
Even at the age of 11, 12, and 13, they've written 2 books already, 2 published books that you can buy at any bookstore in the country. They've learned so much about history, and they've become the teachers.
The Aquinas has taught me many skills in life that I'm going to take on to my high school. I know how to get into a conversation now that I would have known nothing about before.
To stay in Aquinas, you have to work hard. You always have to be on your toes. You have to you have to stay within your deadlines and make sure that everyone's working smoothly at all times.
I've walked around a few times already and I've seen amazing things, amazing, and such hard work.
Teaches you to become a good student, to get good grades and to persevere to do your best and to stay determined to try your hardest.
Well, stay tuned. There's much more currents ahead. When we come back, heading into the Mother's Day weekend, a Time magazine cover was certainly an attention grabber, but did it cross the line? First, though, some more thoughts on Mother's Day and mothers from people at St. Agatha Church in Sunset Park. This time we asked if Mother's Day should be more than once a year.
I think we should celebrate Mother's Day every day.
Well, for national recognition is good for once a year, so we could all remember the hard work mothers go through.
I don't think so. I think once is good. I think if a mother has a son or daughter, that's a celebration.
I think every day is Mother's Day.
Yes, every day actually.
Because the mother work very hard daily, not only today.
Mother's Day is celebrated every day because mother we only have once, and it should be every day the celebration.
Mother's Day is kind of every day. Of course, they just want to pick a special day to enhance it or maybe to make a little bit of extra money.
My mommy likes Mother's Day.
Welcome back. Well, in a world where social communication seemed to dominate, occasionally a magazine can still manage to cause some controversy. That was certainly the case last week when Time magazine featured on its cover a photo of a 3-year-old boy latching onto his 26-year-old mother's breast. And although breastfeeding is nothing out of the ordinary, this photo was not exactly your typical image of that. The mother is standing up, the boy is standing on a chair, and both of them are looking right into the camera and not at each other. Well, it certainly grabbed a lot of attention, but did it serve its intended purpose, which was reportedly to start a conversation on what is known as attachment parenting, or did it go too far? Catholic journalist and author Mary DeTurris-Pouse thinks so. In writing on her blog, she says she was stunned and disappointed and disgusted to see what she called an exploitative photo on the cover of Time. I had a chance to talk more about this with Mary earlier today. Mary, thanks so much for joining us here on Currents today. We appreciate it.
Thanks very much for having me on.
Well, Mary, you're a mom and you breastfed your kids. What was your reaction when you first saw the Time cover?
When I first saw it, first I thought it couldn't be real, I guess. I thought I had to make sure I was check the sources and make sure it wasn't something photoshopped or some kind of spoof. But I was kind of shocked by it and disappointed. I guess it was a combination of feelings. Disappointed that Time magazine would put that kind of cover on breastfeeding, something that's so beautiful and so tender, and they really kind of removed all of the feeling that I think exists between a mother and child, especially during breastfeeding, is really absent from that photo and turned it into something sexualized or provocative in a sense. You know, they may, I've heard people refer to it almost as like slightly like, kind of porn kind of thing.
You think it's a little exploitative.
So they turned something really beautiful into something where you almost felt like you shouldn't be looking at it.
Well, we know that the picture is actually modeled after Madonna and child pictures. That's what they did when they took these pictures of these 4 different women. There were other women that weren't actually on the cover within the magazine, and that's what they were saying there. So the question is, what exactly is it that does make this so outrageous? Is it that he's not an infant, or is it something else?
Well, first I'd like to address the fact that they said they based it on Madonna and child photos, because I had heard that, and I went back and tried to find things that really express that same feeling. Aside from the fact that the Blessed Mother, I don't believe, ever wore skinny jeans and a tank top, I would say that the real problem with it is not the child's age. I nursed my youngest till 2. I have a sister-in-law who nursed one of hers till 4. I have many friends who believe in nursing for a very long time until the child self-weans. So that's not it at all. It's the stance. It's kind of the total disconnect between the mother and child. They're not connected to each other in any way. They're sort of looking out blankly. And also the fact that they tried to make it the mother's clothing, the way the child is even dressed. It's hard to even believe that he is a 3-year-old.
Right. Yeah,
I know they say
he is.
Pants,
right? Yeah, in combat
pants. He kind of looks a lot older than a typical 3-year-old. And usually a mom and a kid, if they're nursing, they're not nursing like that. They're sitting in a much more natural position.
He's standing on a chair, exactly.
Right.
Well, the actual article that the photo is supposed to represent is about attachment parenting. That's what the content of the article is about, which became popular after 1992 with the publication of the Baby Book. And it advocates for parents being physically attached to their kids with slings, co-sleeping, and extended breastfeeding, like the cover says there. Does the photo stray too much from the core of the article by just going for shock value, do you think?
Absolutely. As somebody who, I was never an attachment parent, but I am a fan of Dr. Sears, and I did, as I said, I breastfeed till my children self-weaned, and then did a lot of co-sleeping, and I have to say I had a sling, and when I gave away my baby stuff, it was the last thing I gave away, because to me, it was such a tight connection to my children, because I would carry them in that sling. I would work with them strapped to me in the sling. So I get what the attachment parenting is, and that photo is so disconnected from what attachment parenting is, because it's cutting off all of that bond between the mother and child, which is what attachment parenting is all about. And I think that's what gets people so upset, is that the cover is really, it's for shock value, not really to portray what attachment parenting is about.
I gotcha. Okay, well, regardless, the article has definitely started the conversation as to how long a mother should breastfeed, and implied in that whether she's a better or a worse mother for even doing so, however long she chooses to do so. So the article itself is called "Are You Mom Enough?", which is pretty in your face after all. But what about the judgment around parents who don't want to breastfeed? I mean, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends up to a year. The World Health Organization, 2 years or more. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm a proponent of breastfeeding, so I think it's the best thing for kids if you can do it, and there are people who can't do it. For whatever reason, I'm actually in a place where I've been on the other side of it. I've gotten more looks and things, and people finding it odd that I did want to breastfeed. Seems to be a lot of formula culture here, so I don't see where the U.S. has promoted that enough. because it is the best thing you can do in terms of the health of your child. That being said, as I said, a huge proponent. When my son, my first, I had a nightmare of a time nursing him. I had to have a consultant. For 9 months, it was really kind of torturous because neither one of us could do it well, and he did not like it. And eventually I said, this is enough. This is not something that is good for him anymore because he does not enjoy nursing.
Sure.
It's not like a positive experience. And so I said, okay, I'm done, even though it was not yet a year. So I think it has to be what the mom wants to do and what's good for the mother and baby. But whenever possible, for health reasons alone, even nursing is the best thing.
Try to go for it.
And you know that of course it gets all caught up in there, like you said, on this. Are you good enough? And you know. And pitting the moms against each other again.
And I think that's what the Time magazine cover really sort of put into play by putting that picture on the cover. Certainly controversial. That's all the time that we have for now, Mary, but we certainly appreciate your insights as a mom and as a blogger and an author.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Thanks for joining us on Currents. Definitely a hot topic. Well, there's much more Currents ahead. When we come back, it's all about dads at One Queens Parish as they get some quality time with their kids. But first, it is back to St. Agatha's in Sunset Park as people shared the best advice that their moms ever gave them.
Well, my mother always told me to be myself, to be unique.
Try to do your best, be a man, and
just to be helpful and loving.
Que fuera siempre femenina. Siempre fuera femenina.
Hace 14 años que no veo a mi mamá desde que vine para acá, pero siempre llevo en cuenta que los consejos de la mamá hay que tenerlos en la mente.
Always remember the church, never leave, and always, keep it at heart.
Just remember where you come from. Never forget your roots, your Latin roots.
Always think about what I'm doing before I do it and to be close to the family.
To be a good baby.
And finally tonight, during a time when we're all talking about mothers, it's a time to give dads their due. Our Lady of Hope Parish in Middle Village, Queens is home to a very active Fathers Club. It gives the dads the opportunity to spend some quality time with their kids. Back in March, the group held a slumber party at the parish. There was food, film, and of course there was faith. But there was also one important rule: no mommies allowed.
We're sleeping over in Our Lady of Hope School in the gym. Because Dad's in the Fathers Club. We get to stay up late and we had kids outside, the great people. No moms are allowed. You need to spend some time with your daddies.
We're doing a Fathers Club event. We've had the Fathers Club. This is our second year running now, where we've done different events throughout the year. Last year in March, we did the sleepover. It was a big success, so we're doing it again this year. Basically we just let the kids run wild for a little while. We're going to sit down, we're going to have a meal. Then we have some events that we have planned for them, races and a basketball free throw tournament, just to keep the kids excited.
Hi.
No moms allowed. They can drop off their husbands and their children, but then they got to go. I guess some complain, but most of all, I know the moms have a good time with it because, think about it. They got a free Saturday night. They should all be thanking us.
Oh, yes, I am. I'm looking forward to my night out.
Very happy. I'm going Easter shopping with some friends.
He knows we're having fun. We're not going anywhere crazy tonight. Another time.
This is an organization that Father Carano put together as a Fathers Club because he felt that sometimes the kids don't get enough time just with the fathers, and he always sees the mothers picking them up from school, and the mothers here, the mothers there. So he started this Fathers Club, and it's been a great thing for the kids.
If a father works so much and he's not with the children, that parental guidance, involvement, concern is always missing, in any family. It's just not, with the Fathers Club members, and obviously the members are here because they want to be here, they have the time. They make the time.
Enjoy the evening, enjoy the movie. I thank you for being part of this beautiful community, really. The fathers and all you wonderful, lovely children.
I do this Fathers Club because I like to try and be around more often for my son than my father was able to be for me. Not by his own choice, but because he had to be.
Getting ready for bed.
I think it's good because he works in the day
So I spend like the whole day with my mom, and I only see him at night. So spending this whole day with him is pretty nice.
I get to learn more about him, and we get to talk more about the things that we usually wouldn't talk about with everyone else.
I like to sleep here with like the covers over me after we like watch a movie maybe. I really like it, and I hope I can do this again.
Let's meet
The biggest thing I hope they take away from this is fun. You know, spending great quality time with their children. I mean, I know that's what I look forward to, and I hope that's what they get out of this. And I made probably, you know, a couple of my best friends, you know, I met at this event last year. And so I hope, you know, everyone, you know, has a great time, quality time with their children, and they make some new friends.
Such a great event, especially for all those dads that have to work so much. So great to see their little munchkins enjoying such a nice time with them. Well, that is all for this edition of Currents. Coming up tomorrow, Interreligious Understanding will return to a Queens parish for a further look at Christian-Jewish dialogue. Until then, be sure to visit us online at currentsny.net. And for all of us here at Currents, I'm Francesca Maxime. Thanks so much for watching. And we're also going to leave you tonight with some final thoughts from St. Agatha Parish in Brooklyn, where people shared with us what they would do for their mothers if they had $1 million.
If I had $1 million.
What would she want? I guess she wants a bigger house so all the family could be in.
I would give her like a ring.
She always wanted to go to Rome. I'll take her to Rome, the Vatican.
I could buy her like a big house and take her to trip and travel all over the world.
Flowers. I'm going to get her a flower and a toy for my mommy.
She just gave me the life, so whatever I have, whatever I do, it's all for my mom, you know.